Imagine this. Every single day he gets jumped on his way to school. Just randomly beat down. Taking a shower? Nope, not even safe there. Gets jumped again. Walking down the street, minding his own business? The school bullies descend like vultures. You'd think he'd just throw in the towel and drop out, right? Nope. This kid is made of something else. He gets this fire in his belly and decides he's gonna become a one-man wrecking crew to take down these bully losers. And get this, he doesn't have some wise old master training him in the mountains. This kid's hardcore DIY. Every morning, he wakes up and runs 30 kilometers. That's like a marathon just to start the day. Then he's jumping rope for 5 hours. After that, a few thousand push-ups just to warm up. And how does he learn to fight? YouTube. He teaches himself capoeira mixed with karate. That's right. He's crafting his own deadly martial art cocktail to become unstoppable. I'm telling you, just 1 week later, 1 week, this guy is the king of 3 schools. He's leaving those bully bosses crying in the dirt. But get this, the most brutal dude he has to face is some real psycho. So who is this kid? Where does he get this insane determination? And just how terrifying is this final boss bully? Well, you gotta check out this epic school drama called Tong Memories to find out. Okay, so we meet this guy, Jong Wu. He's taking graduation pictures with his mom. She tells him she's busy and to just hang out until later, but he's not exactly thrilled. He just dips out and meets up with his friend, who's already cracking jokes. Jong Wu wants to get a group photo, for the memories. This other dude, Hyung Yu, is about to start messing with someone on his phone when suddenly, a car pulls up. It's Yoonju, Jong Woo's girlfriend, and she's also friends with the guys. They're all bummed because this is the end of an era. After today, everyone's going their separate ways. Jong Wu and Do Hyun are actually going to the same school. On their first day, Do Hyun thinks it's all peace and love. He goes to Jong Woo's class and says, "This school is full of friendly people. I really hate school violence." And right as he says that, this guy walks up and says, "Get out of my seat." Do Hyun is just like, "Nope," and gets out of there. Outside the classroom, this new student named Young Tae is getting absolutely destroyed. But even after getting pummeled, he stands up and says, "Is that all you got, school bully? You hit like a little girl." And then, out of nowhere, Young Tae lands a punch that knocks the bully out cold. The bully is just lying out, can't even get up. Young Tae just smirks and walks away to wash off the blood. Later, Young Tae tells his best friend, Han Pyo, "I heard there's a freshman who's supposed to be a fighting genius named Jong Wu. Did you do any research on him before you came here?" Han Pyo says, "He's the son of a legendary military intelligence agent, the Korean Bruce Lee. He's so fast you can't even see him move before you're knocked out. They say he could take on 100 guys without breaking a sweat." So Jong Wu was trained to fight. Word is, he's not afraid of anyone. And Young Tae is just scoffing. He says, "Are you his freaking publicist? You're not even stumbling over your words. I'd crush him." Then, being all macho, Young Tae leads his little crew to find Jong Wu and show off to the other freshmen. The meathead leading the charge just points at some overweight guy chowing down on roast pork. Young Tae, thinking he's hilarious, says, "You look more like Pigsy than Jong Wu." He's about to throw down when Han Pyo comes in and says that's not him. Turns out Jong Woo's sitting right nearby, not even flinching. He doesn't even acknowledge Young Tae. So Young Tae gets ready to swing, but Do Hyun steps in to stop him. He pushes with all his might, but can't move Young Tae's arm. So Young Tae's like, "You're just a little punk. Get out of here before you get hurt." Right after he says that, Jong Wu sweeps his leg out from under him, and Young Tae goes down hard. He gets up and says, "Who mopped the floor this morning? It's slippery." Then he stands up and says, "I want to fight you. If you're feeling generous, I'll be generous back. Basically, if you're looking for a fight, I'll give you one." Jong Wu agrees, so everyone heads to the school gym and clears out a space for them to throw down. Do Hyun, not wanting Jong Wu to have to fight, jumps in and attacks Young Tae, raining blows down on him before kicking him to the ground. Han Pyo tries to jump him, but Jong Wu stops him in his tracks, then punches him in the face, telling him to fight fair. The fight between Do Hyun and Young Tae continues. Young Tae lands a headbutt, then wrestles Do Hyun down to the ground and looks pretty pleased with himself. But right as he's about to land the final kick, he gets kicked hard in the knee and cries out. Do Hyun begins to hit him again. So Young Tae picks up Do Hyun and slams him down to the ground pretty hard. Jong Wu stops them both and says, "The teacher's coming." Young Tae is furious but has to leave, saying he'll see them after class. Just then, this famous student named Myong Hwa shows up. He did so well in school last year that the school is making him repeat the year to be a role model. The headmaster says, "If you fight or do badly in school again this year, I'm burning your transcript and sending you home to herd ducks. Got it?" But Myong Hwa doesn't say a word. He just acts all cocky and says okay then walks away. Turns out he's one of the 3 big bullies in the school. No one dares mess with him or even get within 10 feet of him. Myung-hwa and Yu-2 are the lieutenants, and this fat dude named Dong-min is the boss of the hunter gang. They bully students and extort protection money from them. After class that day, Jong Wu and Du Hyan aren't scared at all. They go looking for Young Tae and Han Pyo. Lots of students show up, not just to watch but also to bet on the fight to make things more interesting. The three leaders of the hunter gang are up above, watching everything. Jong Wu says, "Don't worry, I'll teach him some manners." So the one-on-one fight is on. Young Tae comes charging in, all hyped up, but he can't land a single hit. Jong Wu's just dodging and weaving, making him look like a fool. He's knocked on his butt. Young Tae tries to get up, but Jong Wu stomps on his shoe and unleashes a flurry of punches, lightning fast, until Young Tae is eating nothing but knuckles. Finally, Jong Wu ends it with a knee to the face that knocks Young Tae out cold, right there in front of everyone. Myung-hwa says, "That guy's not someone to mess with." Yu-2 scoffs and says, "Are you scared of him?" While the two of them are arguing, Dong-min, the head honcho, has a lightbulb moment. He says, "Let's recruit him into the gang and have him collect debts. We'll make even more money." Down below, Young Tae wakes up to find that everyone's gone except for Han Pyo. He chases after Jong Wu and Du Hyan and then, out of nowhere, he puts his arms around them like they're best buds, basically clinging to them like crazy. He then says, "If we don't fight, we can't be friends. I think I love you guys." Jong Wu and Du Hyan don't know what to say but ignore him. As they're leaving the school, the hunter gang is waiting for them, packed together like ants. The four guys try to walk right past, but Yu-2 stops them. The boss, Dong-min, says, "We're the hunter gang. If you join us, you won't have to pay protection money, and you'll even get 10% of the money we shake down from people." Dong-min assumes Jong Wu will jump at the offer and holds out his hand for a shake, but Jong Wu just says, "Are you stupid?" Then the whole group laughs at them and walks away, leaving the hunter gang absolutely furious. They can't let this insult go unanswered. Dong-min immediately orders an emergency gang meeting. All the members get the text and have to scramble to the meeting place, even if they're half asleep. When they get there, Dong-min punches each of them for not keeping things under control and letting Jong Wu and Young Tae cause chaos. Then, he gives out the assignments. Yu-2 is to lead 6 guys to take down Young Tae. Myung-hwa will take 15 of the boys to find Du Hyan, and Dong-min himself will check in on Jong Wu. Everyone gets their orders and heads out to carry them out. Apparently, not fighting leads to friendship. So Jong Wu and Du Hyan are feeling generous and let Young Tae and Han Pyo join their team. Du Hyan asks, "Who are these guys who think they're all that?" Young Tae answers, "They're seniors who shake down all the students for their breakfast money and internet cafe money. It's normal here, so no one dares stand up to them. Tonight, we're hitting up the sauna, and I'll tell you more." After saying that, Han Pyo gets up and leaves. But one of the hunter gang members overhears everything and immediately tells the boss, Dong-min. That night, Du Hyan, being quick on his feet, arrives at the meeting spot first. As soon as he steps into the bathhouse, the hunter gang shows up. The owner tries to stop them, but one of them yells at him. After searching for a bit, Myung-hwa spots the enemy in front of him. Du Hyan realizes what's up. He immediately starts kicking, knowing that there are too many of them, and if he gets surrounded in the confined space, it'll be hard to escape. So Du Hyan moves while kicking, breaking their teeth left and right. Du Hyan's been practicing capoeira since he was a kid, so he mainly uses his legs to attack. Turns out Du Hyan is incredibly agile. Even though the floor is slippery, he moves like flowing water. He gets kicked by mistake, but he gets back up and throws a bucket at one of the guy's heads without hesitation. This guy thought he had an easy target, but instead, he got taken down quickly. With no one else getting up, Myung-hwa finally decides to step in. He gets down into the water and starts fighting. Du Hyan's already tired, but Myung was still fresh, attacking relentlessly. They both use a move, kicking each other in the face and fall backward. At the same time, Jong Wu is walking over. He sees 2 hunter gang members blocking his way. He doesn't want to fight in a crowded area, so he turns into a small alley. Suddenly, the lights go out. The lights flash a few times, and a few guys show up in front of him, not letting Jong Wu retreat, and the alley fills up behind him. It's Dong-min and his crew, coming to deal with Jong Wu for daring to refuse to join the gang. But Jong Wu isn't scared. He quickly jumps in and throws punches, knocking those guys out on the spot. In less than 1 minute and 30 seconds, the gang members are lying on the ground all over the alley, leaving only Dong-min. He used to be all high and mighty, but when faced with a skilled fighter like Jong Wu, he's scared out of his mind. Jong Wu doesn't go all out. He just punches him in the nose and walks away. On the other side, Du Hyan and Myung-hwa are still fighting. But Du Hyan is gaining the upper hand and throws a high kick, knocking Myung-hwa down. Myung-hwa tries to attack again, but Du Hyan grabs his leg and plants it on the other one. Then he comes in with a devastating knee to the face that knocks him out cold. Young Tae's getting ready to head over there himself. He's about to cross the street when a car almost hits him. Not wanting any trouble, he decides to take the pedestrian underpass. Immediately, a bunch of guys follow him in, but he just smiles and says, "Get out of here or get beaten up." The lieutenant, "You two," replies, "You're talking tough." Right away, they spread out into formation. I don't know how this will turn out, but I'd rather live with honor than die in shame. So, Jong Tae attacks, kicking one guy in the leg and punching another in the face. Plus, his headbutt is incredibly effective. Fighting back and forth, Jong Tae manages to hold his own against 3 of them. But getting cocky, he can't hold out for long. He has to cover his head as they kick and punch him. Before he can strike a blow, he is overwhelmed by the numbers. U2 seems pleased, so he smirks. He doesn't expect a youth on a scooter to be coming down the stairs. He speeds down the stairs, hitting 2 of the gang members and shattering their legs. Hanpyo, having his friend show up completely changes the situation. 2 against 3 is nothing for these 2. The 5 guys are left sprawled on the ground. U2 then charges in. He wants to take them both on himself, but Hanpyo doesn't like that. Jong Tae smiles and jumps in for a one-on-one with U2. They grab each other, then push away and start trading blows. "You kick me, I'll kick you back and see who it hurts more." You throw a flurry of punches. "I'm not afraid." The men are evenly matched and unrelenting. Finally, they grab each other by the collar, and Jong Tae suddenly pulls out his signature headbutt, yelling for U2 to accept that he cannot be stopped, causing him to collapse. Jong Tae makes sure to add another blow to the man for good measure. They won the fight, but they're both exhausted. Hanpyo carries his friend over his shoulder straight to the bathhouse to relax. When they get there, they see Do Hyun looking bruised, so they realize they were all ambushed. Not seeing Jong Wu, they start to worry and call him. Since that call isn't being answered, Do Hyun and Jong Tae deduce that he is in trouble and immediately go to find him. Suddenly, a large motorcycle arrives. It's Jong Wu with the beautiful Yoonju. After he beat up Dong Min, he called her to come pick him up. She praises her boyfriend, saying that when Jong Wu takes action, you'll be amazed. Seeing Yoonju flirt with Jong Wu, Do Hyun seems a little unhappy. The next day, news of Jong Wu defeating the boss of the Hunter Gang had spread throughout the school. Students are saying he beat up 30 guys by himself. Truly extraordinary. It is said that the other 3 gang leaders were too scared to even show their faces. Unbeknownst to Jong Wu, Do Hyun overhears this while standing nearby. He feels upset because he also fought hard, sweating buckets, but no one even mentions his name. This stirs up feelings of jealousy. So when Do Hyun walks past Jong Wu's classroom, he visibly displays his unhappiness, leaving Jong Wu confused about what's going on. After thinking it over, Do Hyun realizes that everyone sees Jong Wu as the talented one, while he feels just as capable but gets no recognition. During the next break, Jong Wu actively seeks out Do Hyun to ask what's wrong, but Do Hyun gets angry, then gets up and leaves. The 2 pass each other as if they've never met. After some reflection, Do Hyun finally apologizes the next day, saying, "I just get like that sometimes." Hearing this reassures Jong Wu. Following the fight, the Hunter Gang's reputation takes a hit, resulting in less protection money coming in. The gang leader, Dong Min, seeks help from a larger power, Tae Yeol, from another school. Tae Yeol has a menacing appearance and has defeated 2 recently discharged Special Forces soldiers who tried to escape back home. Not only that, but Tae Yeol is also the younger brother of a mixed martial arts fighter known for having the strongest arm in Asia and famous for his one-hit knockout. His older brother used to be a gangster, but has now turned to something new and does charity work. However, the younger brother still follows the path of evil. Because of this, many students from this school join his gang, making it very powerful in Busan. As it turns out, Yoonju and her high school friend are also in this gang, as one of the leaders. However, Tae Yeol has a very bizarre habit. He uses a wet towel to wipe his head and then makes his gang members wipe it again. Hearing that the local bully, Dong Min, was beaten by a freshman, everyone burst out laughing. However, when the name Jong Wu is mentioned, Yoonju immediately stands up and says she won't get involved in this. Knowing that Hyong-yu used to be good friends with Jong Wu, Tae Yeol immediately thinks of a cunning plan, so he puts on glasses like an intellectual gangster and says, "Japan wants to occupy Korea, but always says they're going to help our country. So we'll help the Hunter Gang, but in reality, we're going to take over their territory." After saying that, he gives Hyong-yu a task, to deliver a challenge to Jong Wu. Back at the school, Jong Tae tells Jong Wu that he wants to dismantle Dong Min's Hunter Gang completely. However, Jong Wu has a different idea. More friends, fewer enemies. So he seeks out the 2 lieutenants for a serious talk. Soon after, these 2 guys voluntarily do good and renounce evil. So they leave the Hunter Gang to join Jong Wu's group. Everyone acts as if the previous fight never happened, and they're all in good spirits. Suddenly, Do Hyun receives a text from Hyong-yu, asking to meet him and Jong Wu tonight. Soon after, the 3 of them meet at the agreed-upon location. Yu says, the king of my school, Tae Yeol, wants to settle the score with you two next weekend. He's too strong and the gang is too big, so I'm worried you won't be able to fight them. I'll make an excuse and not come to the fight. Jong Wu replies, you can come and watch me beat him up. After leaving, the two go to eat tiekbap. Then Do Hyun says we should gain some weight to fight them. At that moment, Yoonju calls and reminds Jong Wu that he should be careful because Tae Yeol is not easy to deal with. After saying that, she hangs up and leads her group of sisters to fight another gang of female thugs at the next school. The next day, Do Hyun and his brothers go to recruit more members into the gang to fight against Tae Yeol's gang. However, as soon as they hear the name, everyone is scared out of their minds and doesn't dare to join. Jong Wu doesn't care because he knew this would happen, plus he always values quality over quantity, so it doesn't matter who supports him or not. Realizing that everyone is afraid of Tae Yeol's strength, Do Hyun knows this is a rare opportunity. If anyone can defeat him, they will surely become famous and have thousands of fans chasing after them. At that point, Jong Wu will be history, so Do Hyun can't sleep that night. He is determined to train hard to defeat the gang leader of Tae Yeol's gang. With health, you have everything, so the first thing to have is fitness. Before starting his training, Do Hyun runs 30 kilometers, jumps rope for 5 hours, and does 1,000 push-ups to warm up his body. You can't do anything without a teacher, so Do Hyun finds a martial arts teacher online on YouTube to learn karate combined with Brazilian capoeira. It can be said that all of his mind is now dedicated to training hard to become talented, not only practicing on the rooftop at home, but also learning right in class. His friend above just feels the thumping under his chair and doesn't dare to complain. Do Hyun even trains at night to make up for what he couldn't get done during the day. Capoeira mainly uses the strength of the legs, so kicks are extremely important. Besides, combining it with the spinning kick of karate becomes even more effective. Surely, with enough time and effort, anything is possible. Do Hyun quickly learns the martial arts moves and masters them in a short amount of time. Finally, the day of the fight arrives. The two sides meet at an abandoned factory to ensure that no one knows about this. Tae Yeol's gang is there in full force, and the fat guy, Dong Min, is there to see his enemies get beaten up. However, when Jong Woo's group shows up, Dong Min's jaw drops when he sees that his two lieutenants, Myung Hwa and Yu Tu, have betrayed him without him even knowing. To add insult to injury, the two bow and then give him the middle finger as a challenge. Seeing Dong Min's furious face makes everyone laugh and have a good time. Seeing that Jong Wu is small, Tae Yeol says, "How cute. Let me know when enough of your people show up so we can actually fight." Hearing that, Jong Wu steps forward and says, "I'll take all of you on my own." Tae Yeol then calls Hyung-yu to take on his old friend from back in the day. However, Jong Wu cleverly retorts, "You're the boss, are you gonna cower like a turtle or what, you idiot?" After hearing that, Tae Yeol gets angry, wipes his face with a towel, and offers it to Dong Min to wipe again, but he refuses to take it. Tae Yeol then takes off his shirt to fight instead of Hyung-yu. Knowing that his chance has come, Jong Wu is about to step in when Do Hyun stops him and says, "Why can't I do it?" As soon as he says that, the two start fighting. Do Hyun unleashes a series of kicks, but they have no effect. Tae Yeol's body is like a barrel, incredibly sturdy. He effortlessly trips Do Hyun, sending him rolling to the ground and forcing him to just dodge. Tae Yeol's kicks feel like they're going to break Do Hyun's legs, causing him immense pain. Regaining his composure, Do Hyun says, "I can't lose face," and continues to charge. He dodges better, but it doesn't seem to make a difference. Do Hyun tricks Tae Yeol into a heel kick from capoeira, but the opponent dodges it. Tae Yeol starts attacking non-stop, landing every blow on Do Hyun. Suddenly, Jong Wu rushes in to break it up. He unleashes his signature one-punch knockout move, which Tae Yeol can't dodge, and sends him collapsing to the ground. Seeing this, all the gang members rush in, and a bloody battle ensues. Although there are numerous, they're all weak, so it doesn't make a difference. Of course, Jong Wu won't spare Tae Yeol. He's nothing to Jong Wu and doesn't even deserve to touch him, so he is completely knocked out. One guy comes and he gives him a dunk. Two guys come, and Jong Wu kicks both of them. The other brothers are also very enthusiastic and fight like they've never fought before, showing no mercy to these scumbags. The five brothers show the gang members what it's like to be bullied. Seeing this, Dong Min decides that running away is the best option. However, he is stopped by his brother, Yu Tu, who gives him a beating for bullying the other guys. At the same time, Yoonju receives a call with the news and jumps on her motorcycle. Rushing over, too worried about her boyfriend, she quickly alerts the police to break up the crowd. Although Do Hyun's group had gained the upper hand, Young Tae carelessly had his skull smashed with a metal pipe on the ground, causing him to bleed profusely. Hyung-yu occasionally helps Jong Wu by punching his own teammates. Eventually, they finish off these guys. Hearing the sound of police sirens, the gang members scatter like tanks rolling downhill with no brakes. Tae Yeol is the most injured, and Young Tae is also at risk of a traumatic brain injury. so they can't all escape and have to stay and face the consequences. Du Hyan, feeling frustrated with his loss, says, "All my hard work has gone to waste." At this point, the police arrive, and everyone is thrown into the back of a police van and taken to the station. Young-tae is given special treatment and is taken to the orthopedic trauma center. Yoon-ju runs up and says, "I'm sorry for calling the police." Jong Wu replies, "It's okay." At the police station, an officer says that everyone has to call their parents to bail them out before they can leave. However, Jong Wu bravely stands up and takes all the blame. "I'm the one who organized the fight with Tae Yeol sitting over there. These people were forced by me. Want to be a hero, huh? Well, I'll report you to your school." Soon after, the principal arrives, and all the brothers in Jong Woo's group are released. Just then, the trash Tae Yeol's brother also shows up. Being a celebrity, everyone is a bit intimidated by him. "You little punk, who do you think you are?" As he says this, he slaps his brother. The next day at school, the principal whips each of them on the behind. It goes fine until it's Du Hyan's turn. Then he won't fall. In fact, Du Hyan stubbornly refuses to admit responsibility and tries to claim that Jong Wu was the mastermind behind the fight. After saying that, Du Hyan haughtily leaves, leaving the principal speechless with surprise. At this moment, Jong Woo's father also arrives. He says, "My son is very well behaved at home, but he's rarely home. I don't know what happened at school." The principal replies, "Jong Wu confessed to masterminding a fight that left a student named Young-tae with a traumatic brain injury. So the school is forced to expel Jong Wu. The best course of action is for you to transfer him to another school before the school board makes a decision." Speechless with his son, the father has no choice but to leave. Soon after, Jong Wu and his friends go to visit Young-tae, but Du Hyan doesn't even bother to acknowledge them. Luckily, Young-tae's injury is only superficial and not a traumatic brain injury, so he's still smiling and happy about defeating the gang. Jong Wu calls Du Hyan, but he doesn't even answer and hangs up immediately. Back at his dorm, Du Hyan sees Jong Wu standing on the rooftop. Jong Wu offers his friend a beer to talk, but Du Hyan refuses and says, "You're famous, you're good, you're the best. So why are you looking for a loser like me?" After saying that, Du Hyan throws a punch, but Jong Wu doesn't dodge the second punch. At this moment, he says, "I'm planning to move to Seoul, and we won't see each other again. I don't want to be famous. It's just that the school bullies keep coming after me, and I can't ignore them. I hate school violence. I hope you will eliminate the gangs so everyone can be at peace." Du Hyan replies, "I also hate these bastards bullying others, but I'll do it my way." The next day, the police officer, Young-tae, is discharged from the hospital and returns to school. Jong Wu gets into a car with his dad, looking sad. The group of friends is down to 4 people because Du Hyan has actively separated from the group and doesn't play with everyone like before. Just when you think the story is over, another thug, even more ruthless, emerges in Busan. This is Sung Hwa, the boss of the biggest gang. He's famous for collecting debts and using cruel methods to achieve his goals, earning respect from even the older gangsters. So the next day, both Tae Yeol and Dong Min go to the headquarters of that gang to ask for help and take revenge. Sung Hwa says, "You're really useless." The two are arguing when suddenly Big Boss Sung Hwa appears. He says, "What's up with these two? Did they just get back from filming a movie or something?" Young-tae gets angry and stands up, but becomes sheepish because he is scared of being hit. "Hey you, stop wiping your face and then giving it to other people." Understanding the situation, Dong Min takes out an envelope and bribes Sung Hwa to ask for help. Surely, with the power of money, things are immediately different. Sung Hwa says, "Who do you want me to take care of? Tell me and I'll help." Du Hyan and Jong Wu. "I heard Jong Wu went to Seoul, so how do we deal with that?" While Dong Min is thinking, Sung Hwa's girlfriend says she has a plan. Knowing that Hyung Yu is Du Hyan's close friend, they have people spread rumors that Du Hyan is being beaten up at the end of a tunnel under a bridge. Hyung Yu, along with some brothers, rushes to help, but they don't find anyone there. Then suddenly they're ambushed by a group. After barely escaping with their lives, they steal Hyung Yu's phone and impersonate him in a message to Du Hyan, asking him to meet them at the park. Naive and trusting, after getting out of school, he goes to the meeting place with an empty stomach. Feeling skeptical because the park is suddenly dark, Du Hyan then calls his friend, who does not answer. Then suddenly the lights come on. Looking closely, he sees Sung Hwa sitting with a pile of his henchmen. Immediately, the henchmen appear and surround him. Knowing that something bad is about to happen, Du Hyan asks, "Where's my friend?" At this moment, the trash Dong Min and Tae Yeol appear. Sung Hwa also takes out Hyung Yu's phone and throws it at Du Hyan's feet, and Du Hyan understands everything. Sung Hwa says, "I hear you're one of the best fighters in school." "Huh?" Du Hyan laughs softly and replies, "So what? We're gonna send you to the hospital, understand?" As the henchmen prepare to act according to the plan, someone in the gang sends Yoonju a message that Do Hyun is about to be beaten to a pulp. Receiving the bad news, Yoonju immediately texts Jong Wu because only he can solve this completely. Right away, the beauty speeds up, shifts gears, turns around, and heads straight to Seoul to pick up her boyfriend. At the park, a dozen henchmen surround and attack Do Hyun. Though he's alone, he has no choice but to fight back. He thought they'd be tough, but they turned out to be just clay. Although there are many, they are not skilled. All of them are just weaklings, so Do Hyun beats them to the ground. While fighting, Do Hyun moves around to spread out the enemy forces. Then, Do Hyun runs onto a swing boat ride. Taking advantage of the machine swinging, he doesn't even need to fight the guys below. If anyone comes up, he will kick them all the way down. The big bosses know that it's not their time yet, so they don't take action. Do Hyun jumps straight down and smashes a guy's head into a nearby house. He attacks anyone who gets in his way. But these guys are more tenacious than leeches. Seeing this, Dong Min immediately blocks his way. In a moment of carelessness, Do Hyun is thrown straight into a burning trash bin. Taking this opportunity, the henchmen all rush in like flies on honey, hitting Do Hyun without any mercy. The trash is very pleased with themselves. The leader, Sung Hwa, orders them to stop and tells his men to drag Do Hyun in front of him. Do Hyun struggles to get up and fight, but they still show no mercy. The worst is Sung Hwa's girlfriend, who pulls out her low-quality phone and takes a selfie to post online. Do Hyun tries to punch her, but they just keep grinning and aren't embarrassed at all. While she is tilting her head to take a photo, suddenly, she gets hit in the face with a bag. Serves her right. Turns out that the four brothers have arrived. Young-tae says, "You guys are using your numbers to bully the weak, you are like monsters." This appearance doesn't make them flinch or feel afraid. In fact, they are very pleased and say this is going to be fun. Then, he kicks Do Hyun, steps on his face and says boastfully, "Anyone who wants to save him has to step over my dead body." Immediately, the four brothers rush in to rescue their good friend. Everyone is very brave and energetic, while Sung Hwa's henchmen are exhausted from being beaten by Do Hyun. Young-tae still uses his signature headbutt, while Yu-tu, with his knack for punching, knocks down anyone he sees. Myung-hwa likes to use his legs. One guy tries to attack Do Hyun, but Hyung-yu manages to come to his aid, bolstering the team with their strong brotherhood spirit, which increases everyone's strength. They all smile because, in times of trouble, the brothers didn't abandon each other. Truly, share the good and endure the bad together. Seeing the fight is at a fever pitch, the Ferris wheel behind them suddenly starts moving. Everyone freezes for 5 seconds, their eyes wide, because the ones who appear are the girls from Yoonju's gang. Sung Hwa scoffs and says, "Oh, I'm so scared." Then, there's the sound of a large motorcycle. It's Jong Wu and Yoonju getting off. Jong Wu walks past his opponent without any fear. A henchman rushes in, but Jong Wu takes him down in less than a note of music. This makes all the others terrified because Jong Wu's moves have confirmed that he's a master with no equal. Jong Wu tells Do Hyun, "Get up and fight." After he says that, he faces Sung Hwa and makes a condition. "If you lose, please give up doing evil. School violence is something to condemn, understand?" Hearing this, Sung Hwa laughs and says, "This guy is crazy." You'd think Jong Wu would face Sung Hwa, but instead, he immediately calls Do Hyun to fight. Do Hyun understands what Jong Wu means, so he listens. Young-tae asks why, and Jong Wu explains, "I won't be here for long. He has to be able to do it to protect the school." Sung Hwa immediately charges, and after 3 basic moves, Do Hyun is on the floor again. However, he doesn't give up. Do Hyun stands up again, no matter what the outcome. He grabs Sung Hwa's leg and punches him repeatedly. Sung Hwa even spins around and unleashes a painful shoulder lock. Do Hyun continues to charge to fight. Although he continuously eats heavy blows, he always tries his best until his last breath. Suddenly, Do Hyun remembers the capoeira techniques he learned, and when he applies them, they work. Sung Hwa can't break any of the moves. Do Hyun flies in and kicks Sung Hwa in the neck, knocking him to the ground. Finally, he wins. Seeing this, the henchmen run in a frenzy, leaving only Sung Hwa's girlfriend to help him leave. Dong Min and Tae Yeol start blaming each other, then run away. Jong Wu is about to return to Seoul. Yoonju makes sure everyone takes a photo together as they used to, so everyone doesn't hold grudges. So Do Hyun, Jong Wu, and Yoonju are still a team. From then on, under Do Hyun's leadership, there was no more school violence in Busan like before. Thank you for watching.